Welcome back to Making the Madness on YouTube. It's bubble season in college basketball. We're nearing Selection Sunday here very quickly. In 4 weeks, we will have the NCAA tournament going off. So, Selection Sunday, just a little over 3 weeks left.
Expect a lot of content from this
Lot
YouTube channel.
of content. Uh, the of course thing we will need to talk about is some bubble matchups because there are plenty this weekend. Um, it's we've got some teams on the right side of the bubble playing. We've got teams on the wrong side of the bubble playing. But if these teams on the wrong side of the bubble, they can pick up some big wins. Uh, Teams on the right side of the bubble can obviously take bad losses, go down in seed. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Our first game on the bubble watch, though, it's Michigan State at Indiana. Michigan State, not even really close to being an NCAA tournament team right now, but Indiana, they're on the inside of the NCAA tournament, but certainly they need to get this win against Michigan State.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Archie Miller rule is set in place for a reason. You have to have a winning record, and right now, Indiana they have a 12-9 record, and then they head to the RAC. That's the scheduled loss Wednesday of next week. Then they host Michigan before ending their regular season, heading to Mackey to face Purdue. That could be That could be three losses right there. So this game here becomes huge because that'll put them at 13-12. They'll need to add a win, probably two in the Big Ten tournament to feel comfortable because honestly, if they're 13-12, or I guess 14-13, if they get a win and a loss in the Big Ten tournament, that might not be good enough. Even though I think this team could be good, they're not great. And this starts here. I mean, they have to win this game, and they have the right formula to be able to win this game. Feed Trace Jackson Davis. Michigan State has no answers inside for him. They have a revolving door of big men coming in and out with Julius Marble, Madi Sissoko, Marcus Bingham, Malik Hall plays sometimes, but none of them can get the job done ever. Trace Jackson Davis might have 30 in this game. Indiana is going to win pretty handily here.
Yeah, I hesitate to say Indiana will ever win big because even against bad teams, like we saw what they did against Northwestern, that's a game they should have won by double digits. They struggled. They uh, struggled earlier in the season against Nebraska, but I think they'll find a way to win. Uh, I just think they're a better team right now. And Michigan State always has a little bit of trouble heading to Indiana and winning. I think they'll have some trouble. I think it'll be a somewhat close game, but again, give me Indiana. UConn at Villanova. UConn is, uh, I think they're in. Some people have them out, so they're kind of like one of those teams right on there. I do think the NCAA tournament committee is going to look at the James Bouknight injury situation, say, yeah, a couple of these losses probably don't happen if James Bouknight is in the lineup. We saw Bouknight against Providence. He was fantastic and led them to win. Well, a week earlier, they played Providence on the road, and without James Bouknight, they lost pretty comfortably. So I think it's pretty clear they're a better team with James Bouknight in the lineup. We'll kind of see what the NCAA tournament committee kind of does with them. But in terms of this game, I think it's a winnable game for them. Villanova's kind of been struggling this year. I'm not really sold on them. Their last performance against Creighton was kind of a clunker. They gave up 86 points. I will take UConn to win on the road. I think this is a big time showing for them. I will take the Huskies in an upset pick.
Yeah, this is far from a vintage Villanova team when you think of it. Usually, Villanova teams, you think of tough teams that defend and shoot the three really well. They do one of those things really well. They shoot 38% from deep as a team this season, but they cannot defend anybody. Their defense is a mess. I think UConn is going to be able to capitalize on that. They're going to be able to get the ball to Adama Sanogo inside, a guy that's really developed throughout the year. Get it to James Bouknight, obviously. Tyrese Martin's going to feast on the glass, and I think that UConn's going to also go in and get a road win.
There we go. That would be, I think, if they get that road win, they're pretty comfortably in the NCAA tournament. So it would be certainly a huge one for them. Kind of looking at a different angle here, it's Stanford at Washington State. Washington State, I think at this point would probably be like a quad 2 win, so not one that's necessarily going to move the needle either way. But for Stanford team, I currently have them on the outside looking in for the NCAA tournament, but they're my last team out right now. So Stanford really, really needs to get this win and just kind of keep moving along, keep getting wins. This is a huge game for them, much more so in the fact they can't afford to lose this game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Stanford is an interesting team when you look at it. They've dealt with a ton of injuries. Zaire Williams has missed 6 or 7 games. Bryce Wills has missed a lot of time. Dejon Davis has missed a lot of time. And Washington State's not an easy team to go play. They have a lot of talent. And we're seeing that today with Noah Williams, the way he's playing against Cal. He's having one of the best games of anybody I've seen this season, if we're being honest. 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists so far with 8 minutes to go in that game against Cal. And that's without Isaac Bonton. Noah Williams, when he's running the point, is one of the best players in the Pac-12. I think this is going to be a really tough game for Stanford, but I think they'll be able to win the game. It'll be super close, though.
Yeah, I think it'll be certainly a very close game. And Washington State, I think next year we'll probably be talking about Washington State on the bubble like we are this year with Stanford. So in this game, though, I'm going to take Washington State in a kind of upset. I think it's like I don't think Stanford's playing all that great right now. And Washington State, they're a very good team. I wouldn't want to be playing them right now, certainly. So give me them in an upset and probably hurt the Pac-12's overall chances of getting 5 bids.
Yeah, I thought about it, yeah.
All right. The next one, Seton Hall at Georgetown. The Seton Hall team, they haven't been playing fantastic basketball recently. They had a couple really close games that probably shouldn't have been, most notably recently against DePaul, but they're heading on the road to Georgetown. Not a terrible loss if they lose it, but obviously another game, you want to win the game. They've won 4 straight. You want to make it 5 straight. You don't want to lose to Georgetown. I'll take the Pirates here. I just think they have a bit more skill. And the other thing, too, I think it'll be a close game. I just think the Pirates have a bit more. So give me Seton Hall to get the road win.
Yeah, Georgetown's an interesting team. I mean, we've seen them beat Creighton this year. We've also seen them lose at home to Navy. I mean, that's an interesting string of events there that you don't really see often from a team in the Big East, but we've really seen it with Georgetown this year. Javon Blair's almost leading the Big East in scoring. I think he's second or third. Jamarco Pickett's having a great season. Qudus Wahab's having a very good year. And Chaudier Billet has really developed throughout the year, the Northwestern State transfer. I think Georgetown is going to win this game. I feel like this is a tough matchup, and I feel like that Georgetown can rise to the occasion in this one. They're going to have to find a way to stop Mamu, but if they can stop Mamu, they're going to win this game.
Georgetown single-handedly ruined the net by losing to Navy, and now Colgate's in the top 10. They can certainly ruin Seton Hall's chances of getting an at-large bid with this win. Meanwhile, Mississippi State will play at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is kind of a team, they're trending up, but this is another game. They need to continue to win. They don't really have a lot of room to afford too many losses. They have some tougher games coming up, so they'll certainly have opportunities to get big wins, but this is a game they really need to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough game for Ole Miss because obviously it's a rivalry game. But when you look at it, they're an interesting team because they're one of the best defensive teams in college basketball, but they really struggle to shoot. In this one, they're going to have to focus on their post defense that starts with Romello White, Luis Rodriguez, and Robert Allen, along with KJ Buffin. They're going to have to defend Tolu Smith and Abdul Adu. Very tough inside. Tolu Smith is their best player right now. but also they have Iverson Molinari, who's a very good guard. They have DJ Stewart. They have Cameron Matthews, who can play. This is a talented Mississippi State squad, but it's really young. I think that Ole Miss is going to be able to prevail based on experience with Devontae Shuler, but it's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, I think in these rivalry games, it's always going to come down to, I think, the last 3 or 4 possessions, which I think it'll happen in this game. But give me Devontae Shuler late in the game. He knows what's on the line, and I'll take Ole Miss to win the game. In a close one, should be a fun game. Will certainly be interesting to watch. Maryland at Rutgers. Now, Rutgers, I think, is pretty safely in the NCAA tournament field, win or lose this game. But Maryland, they're not out of it yet. 13-10 overall. Now, I will say one thing. Maryland has some signature wins. They also have a pretty easy schedule upcoming after this Rutgers road game. They play Michigan State a week after this Rutgers game. They play at Northwestern. They play Penn State at home. Theoretically, that should be 3 wins for the Terrapins. So I think Rutgers, they know they're on the doorstep of, pretty much clinching at large bid. If Rutgers is to win this game, I think it's just about, it would be crazy for them not to make the NCAA tournament if they end up winning this game. I'll take Rutgers to win this game, and I think Maryland still has a pretty good path to the NCAA tournament if they win their next 3, which they should. But I just think Rutgers, we saw it earlier the year they played each other. Rutgers was the better team pretty clearly then. I think they're the better team right now.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with what you say for sure there. With Rutgers, the thing for me is Ron Harper Jr. has really struggled recently. He's 0 for his last 19 from deep. That's going to have to change in this one if Rutgers can win, but it's at home. I just trust that, even though there's not fans, we've seen home court advantage could still be a thing. Look at Minnesota. I think that Rutgers will be able to win this one at home.
And then the last one here, it is Butler at Xavier. Xavier's a team, so they've started 11-2. Then they played one game in between January 10th and February 13th. That was a win against Butler. Now they play UConn. They lose that game. They play at St. John's. They lose that game. So 2 straight losses. They're 11-4 overall. I think this is a must-win game. I just think in order to really assure yourself that, yes, you're confident you're an NCAA tournament level team, from a confidence standpoint, I think this is a big one to show not only themselves but also the committee, hey, we had a couple tough games come off the COVID pause, but we're still that team that we were pre-COVID pause, put us in the NCAA tournament. So I think this is a big game for them. Butler's not really a good team. So I'll take Xavier to win. I think it might start a little bit ugly, but I think Xavier will start to really figure things out as the game goes on.
Yeah, definitely. Paul Scruggs will have to have a good game against Aaron Thompson. Butler has a couple nice young guards with Miles Tate and Chuck Harris. I think Butler's still a ways away. They're probably the worst team in the conference. I think Xavier's going to win this one, but if they lose this game, it's going to be a bad loss, and they cannot afford a bad loss.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, that will wrap it up for this edition of the Bubble Watch. Make sure to subscribe to Making the Madness on YouTube. We'll be coming out with more content as the season goes along. Game previews, Bubble Watches. It'll all be here. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we will be back.